Hello everybody, welcome back to another video, and in this video I'm showing you everything has been added, changed and fixed in Minecraft Snapshot 23w43a. And in today's snapshot we have a whole lot of new blocks and also a new model for the bed. So let's get into all of these new Minecraft 1.21 features. Now this video is a live stream at the same time as well, which is why there's no editing in this video, but it means you get to see this video as soon as possible after the snapshot has come out. So let's go over all of these new copper and tuff blocks in today's snapshot. So first of all, let's look at the different copper blocks. So there are, well, pretty much 5 new blocks. We now have chiseled copper, copper grate, copper bulbs, copper doors, and copper trapdoors. And then of course we have them for the regular copper, we have them for the exposed copper, for the weather copper, and also for the oxidized copper. So those 4 variants as all the other copper blocks. And let's go over these one by one. Also the different crafting recipes, of course. So there are 2 different ways to craft these different copper blocks. Either using a crafting table or, of course, using a crafter or using the stone cutter. So let's grab the stone cutter as well and let's grab some copper ingots. Also they've put these different blocks in here very nicely. There's 9 different copper blocks now, so they all line up very nicely in your creative inventory. But okay, let's grab some copper and let's look at the different crafting recipes. So first of all, we have the copper bulb. So copper bulbs are created. Where is it? All of these are waxed. Why are all of them waxed? Copper bulbs are created with copper like this, so copper blocks, a blaze rod, and a redstone dust. Then there's the copper door, which of course, as you expect, is just made with 6 copper blocks. The copper trapdoor, 6 copper blocks like this. And then we also have the grates. The grates are made, here we go, with 4 copper blocks, like this. Let's also grab a copper block, because apparently all of these need copper blocks. There we go. And now we should get more of those recipes. So where do we have the chiseled copper? Okay, we have the copper grate, which is 4 copper like this. We have the final block, which is the chiseled copper. Where do we have chiseled copper? I am probably blind. No? Okay, I'm not quite sure. But it should be just 2 copper slabs. So let's grab 2 copper slabs. Here we go. For example, these. 2 cut copper slabs on top of each other should make the chiseled copper. There we go. That's how you make chiseled copper. And the other way is to use the stone cutter. So just put copper in there, and now you can see you can make the chiseled copper, the copper grates, and that's it. So the copper grates are actually quite special. That's these blocks over here. So let's place a couple of them down. So these are copper grates. And they, as you can see, are transparent and allow light to pass through. Something else interesting is that mobs cannot suffocate in them. So if you put these like this and you spawn in a mob below, like for example, if you spawn in a creeper below here, it will actually not suffocate in this block and it can actually walk straight out. You cannot walk into it or anything, it's just that it doesn't suffocate mobs. And furthermore, it also cannot conduct redstone. So if we place down a copper grate, place down a redstone repeater on both sides and a redstone torch, you'll see it works exactly the same as, for example, glass, in that it can't transmit redstone like this. So it just works as a fully transparent block. Furthermore, hostile mobs cannot spawn on copper grates. So if you line a whole area with copper grates, hostile mobs cannot spawn on top of them. Then let's go over to the copper doors and trapdoors. So these are these copper doors and copper trapdoors, which work exactly the same as other oak or other wood doors. You can open them by hand, and they also interact with redstone like normal doors. And they, of course, crafted again with the copper blocks as we saw before, like this for the doors and like this for the trapdoors. And then, of course, there's the most important copper block left. It is the copper bulbs. So these are interesting and actually work differently to redstone lamps. So let's take a look at these copper bulbs now. So they are of course a light emitting block, but to activate them, all you need to do is actually give them a redstone pulse. So let's say we grab a button. In case a button fits nicely here. So we place the button on the copper bulb and we activate it once. You will see that it lights up and then it stays on afterwards. Furthermore, you can also see a little red dot at the center of each of the parts of the copper bulb. So if you hit this, you will see a redstone dot in the center of all of these sides. And you can see that if you hit it again or toggle it again, it just turns off again. So you can turn it on and turn it off with just a single input. You don't need to power it indefinitely. You can remove this button as well and it just stays on all the time. You can place blocks on top and break them and it all works just like that. Very, very nicely. And so there is of course also a difference in the light level these different ones give off. So let's grab all of these different copper bulbs and place them down over here. Make it nighttime. And you will see that they all have a different light level. So time set 15,000, we'll make it nighttime. And you'll see this one gives off redstone signal strength 15. Let's actually just place them next to each other and turn them on and off. That's probably the best way to show this. So buttons, there we go. Turn this off. This next one is the exposed copper bulb. It gives off a light level of 12. The weathered one gives off a light level of 8. And finally the oxidized one gives off a light level of 4, which is a really low light level, as you can see right there. And gradually increases all the way up to the one that gives off the most light, which is the regular copper with light level 15. And so when you place this copper bulb down, by default it is off. And it will toggle this light on or off when it receives a redstone pulse, as we saw before. A redstone crystal will glow in the center of copper bulbs while it is powered, which we saw before as well. And comparators will read a signal strength of 15 if the copper bulbs is on. So you can place a comparator next to a copper bulb, like this. If it's off, it gives off no signal. If it's on, it gives off a redstone signal strength of 15 right here. And that stays on until, of course, you power this copper bulb again and it turns back off. Like this. So it does not conduct redstone power is what it says. So again, if we use a couple of repeaters and try to pass a redstone signal through, as you can see, that does not work. It will turn on, of course, the copper bulb, but no redstone signal will pass through the copper bulb into the other side. And as we saw before, we can craft the copper bulb with 3 copper blocks, a blaze rod, and a redstone dust. So something like, where is it? Why are all of these waxed? I don't want the waxed versions. There we go. So redstone dust, blaze rod, and 3 copper blocks. But these are not the only new blocks in this snapshot. There are more blocks, and that's all of these different Tuff blocks. So previously in 1.20 we just had a singular Tuff block, which is of course the regular Tuff block down here. But in 1.21 we're getting all of these new Tuff blocks, which is quite a lot. So let's take a look at all of these. And of course to craft them, just put a Tuff in the stone cutter and you have all of the different variants of stuff right over here. So that's probably the easiest way to craft these, but you can also craft them in the crafting table with all the different regular recipes, as you can see here. So let's take a look at the blocks themselves. So we have Tuff, then we have Tuff stairs, Tuff slabs, Tuff walls, and chiseled Tuff. This chiseled Tuff block, as all the chiseled blocks, looks very, very nice and has a very interesting pattern on it, as you can see there. Then there's also polished versions of all the Tuff blocks, which again you can just craft by combining the Tuff like this for in the crafting table or just by using them in the stone cutter. You can have regular polished Tuff, the polished Tuff stairs, polished Tuff slab, and also a polished Tuff wall. And then finally there's also the bricks versions, which I think look really, really cool actually. They almost look a little 3D, those bricks. So you have regular Tuff bricks, a stairs version, a slab version, a wall, and then again chiseled Tuff blocks. So chiseled Tuff bricks actually. So chiseled Tuff and chiseled Tuff bricks. I think this is probably the first time we have 2 chiseled versions of a single block, which I think is amazing. Both of these look really, really cool. Also, look at those top textures for these different Tuff blocks, chiseled Tuff blocks. They look insanely nice. Again, a nice, very nice 3D effect for these chiseled tough bricks. Very nice. And so yeah, those are all the new blocks in this snapshot. But that is not the only thing that has been changed in this snapshot for 1.21. There is something else as well, which I think nobody expected, but here it is. So let's grab a bed spawn egg, because the bed has actually been changed. Its model and animations are both now different. So let's spawn in a bed and see what it looks like. There it is right there. That is what a bed now looks like. The flapping animation looks a whole lot more realistic actually. And in general, the model looks a whole lot more realistic as an actual bed. So that's really cool. Let's summon in a couple of these. And let's also try to summon one in with no AI, if I still remember how to do that. So it probably is just no AI 1. No, okay. Apparently not. If someone in the chat knows, then please let me know. In the meantime, let's take a closer look at the bed. So it has a sort of like a wider head, is what I can tell from these like flying ones. And I honestly really like the flying animation. So for now, they've only changed the look of the bed. The bed has an updated model, animation, and texture. So it doesn't drop anything currently still. They've just changed the way the bed actually looks. That is the only difference there. Then there are some other changes as well. Okay, yes, there we go. Thank you. There it is. We can take a closer look at the bed here. So look at that. It actually has like different colored ears. And you can see the eyes are somehow on the side of the head. There we go. Thank you, Thundery, for the command. As you can see, the ears are sort of 2D. But look, it looks really, really cool actually. I'm not sure about the look directly from the front. It looks a bit creepy. But from the side, it looks really, really cute actually as a bed. So that is very, very nice. That is the new bed model and texture. You can see the flapping animation here again as well. And as for other changes, thrown ender pearls produce a teleportation sound on impact now. So if you throw an ender pearl and you land, and it lands, it'll actually make a sound. And it's the same sound that the Enderman makes when they teleport. So that is nice. And it's also the same sound you hear when you eat coarse fruit. And then they've also updated both the data pack version and the resource pack version. So data pack version is now 22 and resource pack version is now 20. And of course, there are also quite a few bug fixes in this snapshot as well. If you want to read through all of those, I'll leave the full page notes in the description down below. But of course, the most important part of this snapshot is these new blocks and the new bed model. So if you like this video, then please subscribe.